Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Ako si Attorney Robert John Donesa at ito ay isa na namang video sa obligations and contracts. Sa araw na ito ay i-discuss natin ang patungkol sa mga puro at kondisyonal na mga obligations. So ito'y covered ng Article 1179 hanggang Article 1192 ng Republic Act 386 na mas kilala bilang Civil Code of the Philippines. So, may mga obligations tayong ini-enter into, tapos itong obligations na ito ay minsan mayroong kondisyon. So, mayroon tayong mga kontratang pinapasok, tapos minsan nilalagyan natin ito doon mismo sa contract na pinipirmahan natin, nilalagyan natin ito ng mga clauses kung saan nakasaad ang mga conditions o mga kondisyones, no? Bago ipatupad o bago maganap ang mga napag-usapan sa contract, o kung may napag-usapan na, mawawalang bisa ito kapag nangyari yung mga conditions. So itong mga conditions na ito ang nagbabago doon sa kontrata, naging conditional obligation. No, pero kung walang condition, pure obligations o puro na obligasyon. So dalawang konsepto ang ating aaralin ngayong hapon, ang pure obligations o yung mga obligations na wala siyang mga kaakibat na mga kondisyones o mga events, no, na kailangan maganap bago ipatupad o mawalang bisa ang contract or obligations, no? At ang pangalawa naman ay ang conditional obligations, kung saan mayroon tayong inaabangan na mga pangyayari na magkukos para ipatupad na ang kontrata or magkukos para ipawalang bisa ang obligation. So those are conditional obligations. So dalawa. And we will be checking on, no, the articles 1179 hanggang 1192 and iba pang mga articles na na-mention. Along the way, we will revisit them and see for ourselves, no, kung anong matutunan natin dito sa mga articles na ito, no? Ayan. So this is on book 4 sa ating civil code, no, on obligations and contracts. So let's begin with Article 1179. Every obligation whose performance does not depend upon a future or uncertain event or upon a past event unknown to parties is demandable at once. Every obligation which contains a resolutory condition shall also be demandable without prejudice to the effects of the happening of the event. So, ito na ang definition ng pure obligations. Or pure obligation, wala siyang condition. No, it does not depend, or the performance of which does not depend upon a future or uncertain event. Demandable at once. No? Okay, it does not depend as well on a past event unknown to the parties. These are pure obligation and therefore demandable at once. No, yun namang mga obligation na subject to a resolutory condition, no? Resolutory condition are conditions, no, in the future na the happening of which, no, extinguishes the obligation. So ito yung mga condition na in the future, if this happens, then wala na akong obligation. So right now, while this condition does not took place, it's still a pure obligation, no? Kasi demandable at once pa siya, no? So for example, if I enter into an agreement to send your son to college, no? Beginning this academic year, I'm gonna pay for the tuition and miscellaneous fees, no? And your son is already in college, so this obligation is demandable at once. Huh? Okay. But this may be subject to resolutory conditions, no? Like pag-graduate na niya, wala na akong obligation. No? So the resolutory condition is when he graduates in fourth year college, then my obligation to send him to college has already ended. No? It is already extinguished. No? So take note, Article 1179 defines pure obligation. Obligation that does not have a condition. And then the second paragraph is about a future condition that extinguishes the obligation. So the second paragraph talks about obligations that are still demandable at once. So in other words, pure siya sa start, but it's subject to a future condition, the happening of which extinguishes the obligation. So ang example natin kanina is kapag nakagraduate na yung bata, my obligation is hereby extinguished because the resolutory condition already took place. But in the meantime, while hindi pa siya graduate, it's a demandable obligation right now. No? Okay. So let's proceed with Article 1180. When the debtor binds himself to pay when his means permit him to do so, the obligation shall be deemed to be one with a period, subject to the provisions of Article 1197. Sometimes, no, minsan, yung debtor, no, or obligor, no, nangangako siya na magbabayad siya kung kailan makaluwang na siya. So walang specific date, no? So malabo 'yon, no? Sometimes kapag malabo ang contract, it is void, no? Because it's vague, no? But here, no, we do not consider it void nor we consider it vague. Hindi malabo 'yan dito. It is subject to a period, no? And the court may sometimes fix the period, no? It's not void right away, no? When the obligor or the debtor, no, nangako siya na magbabayad siya kung kailan makaluwang-luwang na siya, that's not a void contract, no? That will be deemed a contract with a period na pwedeng i-set ng parties and by the court para pagdating ng period na yan ay due and demandable na ang obligation. No? So, this is subject sa provisions ng 1197 ng Civil Code. So, we go there. 1197 ng Civil Code, no, says that if the obligation does not fix a period, but from its nature and the circumstances, it can be inferred that a period was intended, the courts may fix the duration thereof. So, yan ang sinabi ko kanina na kapag ang obligor o ang debtor ay nagsabi na I'll pay if my means permit me to do so, no, kung kaya ko na, kung may pera na ako, no, that is not yet vague, no, and the contract is not yet void, no. uh, the law considers it na mayroon siyang period, no, which wherein magbabayad yung debtor, no? And tulad niyan, subject siya sa Article 1197 na kung walang nakalagay na kung kailan magbayad, then mahihinuha naman doon sa nature and circumstances na mayroon talaga siyang period lamang na bayaran, eh the court, no, may fix the duration thereof. Titingnan ng court ang nature ng obligation at saka yung intended na period of payment, no, kasi baka nakaligtaan lang, and the court will actually fix the duration, no, kasi uh, it may not be solely dependent on the will of the debtor, no? Hindi siya maaari kasi mamaya hindi na siya magbabayad kasi siya naman pala ang masusunod, magbabayad siya kung kailan niya gusto, no? But the court may actually fix a period, no? So that there'll be justice. In every case, the court shall determine such period as may under the circumstances have been probably contemplated by the parties. No? Once fixed by the court, the period cannot be changed by them. No? So it's incumbent upon the court to actually fix the period, no, na ilalapit-lapit niya dun sa intention ng parties, no. Did the parties intend that this be paid on a particular period? The court will actually know that. The court will be able to infer that from the obligation itself. No? Tapos, if i-fix na niya, and then according to 1197, once fixed, it cannot be changed by the parties. No? Ayan. Let's proceed now. Go back to Article 1181. No? Ito na yung mga conditional obligations. No? This is the general rule, Article 1181. No? In conditional obligations, the acquisition of the rights as well as the extinguishment or loss of those already acquired shall depend upon the happening of the event which constitutes the condition. No, so iba ito kanina sa purong obligasyon na walang condition. This one mayroon, no? Article 1181, sinet niya yung general rule na maging demandable lang yung obligation kapag nangyari na yung condition. Or demandable at once yung condition, mawawala lang ang obligation ng obligor kapag nangyari na ang condition. So the condition may come before or may come after. No? So sometimes I'll give you an example to know the difference. No? I will give you my car, a brand new car, no? On the condition that you pass the board exam. No? Ayan. You passed the board exam. So, demandable at once na kaagad yung aking pangako kasi the condition has already arrived. The condition has already taken place. No? I'll give you a brand new car, my son, as a proud father, if you pass the bar exam. You pass the bar exam. So, it is incumbent upon me, demandable na, ang pagbigay ng car. Why? Because the condition has already taken place. So, conditional obligation. No, that's what we call suspensive condition. Ngayon sa resolutory naman, sige, this is another father-son example. No? Son, I'll allow you, no, to stay in one of our apartments, no? Meron tayong apartment na 4 ang butas, but that's for me, no? And for the elderly na mga magulang mo, um, they're being rented, no, for us. Ngayon, as my son, you already had a wife and a son, pwede mong kunin in the meantime yung unang butas sa ating apartment, pero the moment na magkatrabaho ka, you have to go na. No? So, I'm obliged to support you kasi wala ka pang work. No? You can actually stay there in our house. Pero pagka nagkatrabaho ka, wala na yung obligation ko. End na. So, resolutory condition. Once it happens, the obligation is extinguished. No? So, these are the two general types of obligation. It may either give you rights or you may acquire rights when when the condition takes place, or it may actually extinguish, no, what right that has already been acquired the moment na this happens. So suspensive and resolutory conditions, no? So a conditional obligation shall depend upon the happening of the event which constitutes the condition. 1182. When the fulfillment of the condition depends upon the sole will of the debtor, the conditional obligation shall be void. No? Ayan. So, if it depends upon the chance or will of the third person, the obligation shall take effect in conformity with the provisions of this code. No? So this is different kanina. Kanina, the debtor may pay when his means permit him to do so. So it does not really fully depend on his will, but it is actually conditioned upon uh, his social, situation. If it improves, he can pay. If it's not, he cannot pay. So with that, the court will fix the period. It's considered an obligation with the period. However, this one is different, no? It rests upon the sole will of the debtor. No, kung ayaw ng debtor magbayad, no, ay hindi siya magbabayad regardless kung kaya niyang magbayad o hindi. Simply because um, it it relies on his sole will, no? Kanya lang talaga, no? So this is void, no? The law will void it, no? The law will consider it void because this is unilateral, one-sided for the debtor and unfair ito. And this may not even the obligation may not be even paid, no, because it relies solely on the will of the debtor, no. Okay. But however, if it relies upon chance, no? Like magbabayad ako pag nanalo ako ng loto, that relies upon chance, no? Magbabayad ako kung magbabayad si Juan sa utang sa akin, okay lang 'yun. No? That's not yet void, no? It will still be an obligation, a valid one, but it is subject to the rules of the civil code, no? So, iba 'yon na kanina, magbabayad ako kung kaya ko nang magbayad. That's still a valid contract. The rules allow it, considers it an obligation with a period, no? And even allows the court to fix the period for the parties. And when the period is fixed, it cannot be changed, no? Ito naman, magbabayad ako kung kailan ko gusto. This is void, no? It relies on the sole will of the debtor. It's not fair. It's vague and it's void, no? But magbabayad ako kung bayaran na ako ni tal pulano or ni Husilinang Baliwag, no, it's okay, no? This is not void, but it will be covered by specific provisions of the Civil Code. Magbabayad ako kung manalo ako ng loto, it's not void. No? Uh, it will be still a valid obligation, pero it will be covered by provisions of this code, no? That we will be discussing very soon. No? Right now, what is void is magbabayad ako kung kailan ko gusto. It relies purely on my will. All right? Very colorful ang ating obligations and contracts, no? So, 1183, no, talks about impossible conditions. Impossible conditions, those contrary to good customs or public policy, and those prohibited by law shall annul the obligation which depends upon them. If the obligation is divisible, that part thereof which is not affected by the impossible or unlawful condition shall be valid. No? The condition not to do an impossible thing shall be considered as not having been agreed upon. So this is about impossible conditions. No? Um, there are uh, conditions that are humanly impossible to fulfill. And when it is, no, then the obligation is null and void. No? It does not exist. No? For example, I will engage to you, no, as my katulong, no, or julalay, no, or a personal assistant 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, tapos no breaks, just lunch break. No? Those are impossible conditions. No? It's contrary to good customs. No? It's humanly impossible for a person to serve a master or to serve an employer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No, ano yun? No? And walang break except lunch break. No? At pinag-break pa. Sana't pati lunch break tinanggal na. No? So, that's an impossible condition. No? It's not good. No? It's contrary to public policy, contrary to our labor code. Remember, labor code 888. 8 hours of work, 8 hours of rest and recreation, no? 8 hours of 888. 8 hours work, 8 hours rest, 8 hours recreation. Okay? So 24 hours a day. So 8 lang. 8 lang. So it's the labor code, and therefore it's public policy. It's our public policy for 8 hours lang. And study shows na people working more than 8 hours is very much prone to accidents. No? Ayan. So, for those who wanted to work pa overtime and had another job, okay lang naman yon. Pero at least, no, in one job, like one employer, 24 hours a day, no, and then no rest, no. Ayan. So, it's contrary to public policy and it's impossible, no. So, mga extreme examples like basta lumipad ka sa buwan, ganon, no? I'll pay you, I'll 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 hire you, no? Pero you need to go to the moon and back, no? Every day. So that's impossible condition, no? Okay, or yung uniform niyo sa restaurant ko would be um bra and panty only, no, that's contrary to good customs, no? Or uh, yung conditions of work mo will expose you to indecency, no? Or will expose you to uh, too much chemicals, no? That's against public policy. Yung indecency, that's against good customs, no? So these are impossible conditions, no? And this is prohibited by law, no? And it shall annul the obligation. No? Okay. However, kung ang contract has other provisions, other obligations na not naman under against public policy, against good customs, against the law, hindi naman ganun, then that part, if it's divisible, no, kung kayang hatiin, that part will still be valid, no? But all the rest, no, if divisible, all the rest will be null and void. The part that is not contrary to any good customs, public policy, or law, it could still be valid, na? Ayan. Okay. So if the condition is not to do an impossible thing, like I'll hire you, pero hindi ka dapat pumunta sa buwan, that's impossible thing. Not to do an impossible thing, it's okay lang ang contract kasi considered siya na not having been agreed upon. No? Okay. So, sir, I was thinking na paano kung pinagbibenta siya ng drugs? No, that's prohibited by law, no? So tatlo lang naman 'to. Good customs, contrary to good customs, contrary to public policy, or prohibited by law, no? Kung pinagbibenta ka ng drugs, pinagpata-traffic ka ng human trafficking, o kaya'y pinagbibenta ka ng katawan, no? That's prohibited by law, no? So it will nullify the obligation. No, anong ibig sabihin, sir, pag na-nullify yung obligation? You may not do it. You may not do it because the obligation is null and void. No, wala siyang force and effect of law. You will not go to jail not following it. No? Okay. Let's proceed with Article 1184. The condition that some event happen at a determinate time shall extinguish the obligation as soon as the time expires, or if it has become indubitable that the event will not take place. No, so these are resolutory conditions. No? What's the condition? No, the condition is that when this happens, then I'm done with you. No, or as soon as this time expires, no, or the time is surely not to come, or the condition will never happen na, then uh, extinguish na yung obligation. For example, kanina, no, balikan natin yung example na I promised, no, your parents, of course, in exchange for some prestation, no, I promised your parents na ako magpapaaral sa kanila, no? And sa'yo, sorry. Initially, we agreed na 4 years or until you graduate, 4 to 5 years. That was the agreement. So I started, no, supporting you, sending you money, paying your tuition, giving you allowances, no? Of course, in exchange for siguro sahod or something. Tapos, I started, it was my obligation, no, to support you in, to be your guardian na, no? I'm giving you money, I'm giving you what you need to study, no? Tapos, wala na, nag-asawa ka, tapos nag-drop ka out of school, So it is sure na hindi na mangyayari yung ano, yung graduation na pinag-uusapan. No? So it already extinguished my obligation. It's done. No, it's done. Uh, you will not graduate. It's for sure. No, or nakalipas na ang 5 years, di ka pa graduate, no? And I'm not to send you to school forever, no? Ayan. So those are resolutory conditions, no? And sometimes obvious na hindi mangyari ang hinihintay, no? Ayan. Then it already extinguished my obligation. So another example is you stay in this place, no? That's the condition. You stay in Angeles, for example, Angeles or Mabalacat, no? Di ka pwedeng manirahan sa abroad for as long as your mother is alive, no? That is the condition. And when your mother die, you may now leave, no? So that's the condition of your obligation. So death is certain to come. No, sigurado namang mamamatay yung mga tao, no? So when that took place, no, your obligation to follow, no, the agreement of staying in Angeles or Mabalacat, no, has already been extinguished. Pwede ka nang mag-abroad, no? Kasi ang usapan lang naman habang buhay yung nanay mo. No, kasi ikaw mag-aalaga. No, kung namatay na siya, then wala na. The obligation has been extinguished because the resolutory condition already happened. No? Okay, but for sure, tumamatay ang tao, so that will always take place. So wala tong second ano na to, phrase na ito na if it has become indubitable that the event will not take place, no? It will always take place kasi death is certain. No? Hindi lang natin sure kung kailan, but it's really certain to come. No? Ayan. Unlike graduation na sometimes, some people never had the chance to graduate. No? There is no opportunity. So let's proceed with Article 1185. The condition that some event will not happen at a determinate time shall render the obligation effective from the moment the time indicated has elapsed, or it has become evident that the event cannot occur. If no time has been fixed, the condition shall be deemed fulfilled at such time as may have probably been contemplated, bearing in mind the nature of the obligation. Na? So these are the negative conditions. No? Condition that some event will not happen at a determinate time, no, shall render the obligation effective from the moment the time indicated has elapsed. No? No? Ayan. So, or if it has become evident that the event cannot occur. Okay, dito ka muna sa bahay habang wala pa yung titira. Dito ka muna tumira sa apartment na to habang wala pa yung magre-rent, no? Padating na habang wala pa, no? Okay, kung wala pa siya, dito ka na muna. No? It shall render the obligation effective, no, from the moment the time has elapsed, no? Or when hindi na talaga siya padating, dito ka na. Dito ka na. No? Okay. Will not happen habang wala pa siya, no? Kung hindi siya darating o dito ka na manirahan permanently, no? Pero pagdating niya, no, out ka na, no? So kung wala namang time na na-fix, no, it shall be deemed fulfilled at such time as may have probably been contemplated, no? So pwedeng i-fix natin, no, sa time na yun ang in-expect natin dati. Yun ang nasa mind natin dati na period of time. No, bearing in mind the nature of the obligation. So klaruhin natin, no, ang condition is that some event will not happen. No? So dito ka na muna kung hindi pa sila lilipat. So, no? Kung hindi sila makalipat, dito ka na, no? Ay paano kung lumilipat sila? So it happened, no? So wala na. You have to go. Pero nung nakalipas ang ilang mga buwan, di naman sila lumipat, no? Lipat ka na. Dito ka na kasi wala naman, no? Yung ganun. So this is a negative condition. Ayan. Marami kayong in mind na pwedeng maging example niyan, no? Ayan. So the condition is a negative event. It will not happen supposedly, no? Ayan. Okay, let's proceed. Article 1186. The condition shall be deemed fulfilled when the obligor voluntarily prevents its fulfillment. No? Kung yung inaasahan nating gumawa ng kanyang part sa obligation, no? Siya mismo ang gumawa ng paraan na hindi yun ma-fulfill yung condition, then it's already fulfilled, no? And the obligation is now demandable. Kasi fulfilled na. No? Halimbawa, resolutory condition, no? Yung kanina na paaaralin ka until graduation. So sinasadya mo na hindi nag-aaral, di ka makagraduate, no? Di naman forever na paaralin ka. So it's deemed fulfilled na hindi ka makagraduate, no? So feel na extinguish na yung obligation ko. Kasi ikaw ang may kasalanan na hindi siya natupad. No? Kasi ikaw nag-voluntary ka na parang sinadya mo na hindi to pa rin yung condition na makagraduate ka. No? Kasi the condition is paaralin ka until makagraduate ka. Sinasadya mo. No? Enroll ka ng enroll tapos di mo pinapasukan. So what happened is lumalabas na sinadya mo na hindi naman ma-fulfill. So, di naman ako bayad ng bayad, no? Or abang ng abang sa'yo, no? I also had other obligations. So, considered extinguished na yung akin. No? Okay. So, this is a bit longer, no? Tiyagaan natin, pasadahan natin. Article 1187. The effects of a conditional obligation to give, once the condition has been fulfilled, shall retroact to the day of the constitution of the obligation. Nevertheless, when the obligation imposes reciprocal prestation upon the parties, the fruits and interests during the pendency of the condition shall be deemed to have been mutually compensated. If the obligation is unilateral, the debtor shall appropriate the fruits and the interests received. Unless from the nature and circumstances of obligation, it should be inferred that the intention of the person constituting the same was different. In obligations to do and not to do, the court shall determine in each case the retroactive effect of the condition that has been complied with. No, so we already discussed this before. No, yung halimbawa I already sold to you my dog, no? And you will claim it, no, 3 months after. No? Tapos, in the 3 months, nabuntis si dog, no, at nagkaroon ng tuta. No, we agreed na ikaw na yung may-ari nung tuta because you already bought it, no? So it shall retroact, no, to the day of the constitution of the obligation, no? So any fruits, no, rents for example ng apartment, if ang pinag-uusapan ay apartment, any fruit interests, no, during the pendency of the delivery, no, ay from the moment, no, na, na constitute ang obligation, na pag-agrihan natin na this is the period where you buy already the property, no, magbabalik sa iyo yun, mag-retroact, no, doon sa period. So all the fruits, na natural, no, and interests, no, natural civil fruits, no, will redound to the benefit of, no, the creditor, no, kasi it will reciprocally, it will retroact, no, to the day of the constitution. Paano naman kung reciprocal obligation, yung kaliwaan, no, yung I give it to you, you give it to me, tas hindi pa tayo nag-exchange, nagkaroon ng civil fruits, nagkaroon ng rents, nagkaroon ng natural fruits. No, for example, I'll give you my apartment, no, November 1, November 11 na ngayon. November 1, I gave you my apartment. We signed the contract in exchange for the farmland na you give me. So, according to the first sentence, it will retroact to November 1, not the moment of delivery na November 11. No, so along the way nagka-harvest ka, along the way nagka-rent itong apartment, no? So, the fruit's interest, no, shall be deemed to be mutually compensated unless, tulad nung kanina, nag-agree tayo sa dog, no, na ay sa reciprocal, mutually compensated, no. Ikaw muna yung mag-enjoy doon sa fruit ng land, ako muna ang mag-enjoy sa rent ng apartment. Pending ating pag-exchange, no? Okay. Pero the general rule, kung unilateral yung obligation, hindi reciprocal, hindi kaliwaan, the general rule is it will retroact, no, to the constitution of the obligation, and you have to return all the fruits, no? Pero kung pareho reciprocal, no, like we are both obligated, no, to deliver, then mutually compensated. Pero kung unilateral, ako lang yung magdi-deliver, then all the fruits pending should be delivered to you, no? Retroacted to the constitution of the obligation, to the date we actually signed the obligation, no? Ayan. Kung reciprocal naman ay we mutually compensate each other. Ikaw may hawak sa farmland, therefore the fruits, natural and civil fruits of the farmland will be yours, and the apartment, habang di pa tayo nag-exchange, ako yung may hawak dun sa, ako mag-i-enjoy dun sa civil fruit, no? So if the obligation is unilateral, the debtor shall appropriate, no, the fruits and interest received unless the nature of the circumstances of the obligation, it should be inferred that the intention of the person constituting the same was different, no? Ayan. Okay, tulad kanina, the intention is different, no? Yung tuta sa'yo talaga kasi nag-agree tayo, no? But pwede pang dito the debtor may appropriate the fruits, no, pending the obligation unless the other one is. So general rule, no? Baka malito tayo, no, kasi nauna yung example ko kanina, no. The general rule, kung reciprocal, mutually compensated. Enjoy mo muna, enjoy ko muna kasi di pa naman due and demandable, di pa ako nag-abot sa iyo ng aking part, di pa demandable sa iyo yung sa part mo. So mutually compensated, no? And then doon naman sa unilateral, no, you still enjoy it, no? the fruits unless ang ating intention ay different, no? And we place it in contract. Tulad nung sa tuta na example, different yung kanilang intention. Nauna ko kasi kanina. No, so in obligations to do and not to do, the court shall determine in each case the retroactive effect of the condition that has been complied with. Magulo ito, no, kasi you have the obligation not to, halimbawa, not to do, no, or you have the obligation to do, and then hindi natin alam kung kailan siya mag-start yung obligation mo. The court may interfere, no? The creditor may, according to Article 1188, before the fulfillment of the condition, bring appropriate action for the preservation of his right. The debtor may recover what during the same time he has paid by mistake in case of a suspensive condition. Okay. So, bago ma-fulfill ang condition, no, the rights of the creditors may be protected. No? Okay. So, also in the same manner, yung debtor, yung obligor, ma-recover din niya, no, kung ano man ang na-advance niya by mistake during a suspensive condition, no? So suspensive is yung we remember kanina, suspensive condition refers to conditions the happening of which gives rise to an obligation. Resolutory, the happening of which extinguishes the obligation. So sa suspensive, we said na, for example, if you pass the bar, I'll give you my car. No, I am the debtor. No, I was excited to give you my car in advance. Tapos ang usapan is you must pass the bar before my obligation to give you the car is obligatory or demandable at once. Nagkamali ako. Binigay ko na yung car. And suddenly lumabas yung board exam, wala namang Reyes doon sa listahan, wala ka. No? So sa makatwid, I made a mistake, no? So I may recover. I may get it back, no? I gave the car by mistake, no? And the suspensive condition of you passing the bar did not take place, I can get it back, no? So sa first paragraph naman, it's about you, no? What if you're waiting for the result of the bar, no? And then you were informed na binibenta ko yung car sa iba, no? To people of different interests than you. No, binibenta ko sa iba, no? And then you are interested in it because it will be yours, no? The moment the results of the bar comes out. No, pero binibenta ko, so you have the right, no, to file actions to preserve the status quo and for you to protect your rights. No, so pwede kayong mag-file ng case para di ko iyon mabenta kasi it is a subject of a contract, no? Binibenta ko kasi di pa naman kasi lumabas yung result, no? Pwede ka pang bumagsak. No. While the result is not yet out, you are still very much interested on it, and the condition, the resolutory condition is still very much present. So I am not, you may stop me, no? By appropriate action, you may stop me from selling the car. So this is another long article, but we are almost done. Article 1189. When the conditions have been imposed with the intention of suspending the efficacy of an obligation to give, the following rules shall be observed in case of improvement loss or deterioration of the thing during the pendency of the condition. No? Ah, meron tayong obligation to give. Balikan natin yung car. Ibibigay ko sa iyo after pumasa mo ng bar. So, what are the rules, no, that must take place regarding the improvement, loss, or deterioration of that car during the pendency of me giving the car to you? No? So habang naghihintay tayo na mangyari yung condition, no, ano ang rules, no, about the car, no, that governs, no, our relationship, no? So if the thing is lost without the fault of me, the debtor, the obligation shall be extinguished. We already discussed, no, yung force majeure, no, gera, no, or fortuitous event, no, acts of nature, no, like natamaan ng kidlat o kaya'y nabaha ang car, no, o kaya'y na force majeure, no, napagitnaan sa giyera tulad ng nangyari ngayon sa Ukraine at sa Israel, na nahulugan ng bomba yung car without my fault, no, and I'm not yet in delay, no, without my fault. So wala na akong obligation, extinguished na siya. Rule 1, Article 1189. If the thing is lost through the fault of the debtor, my fault, he shall be obliged to pay the damages. It is understood that the thing is lost when it perishes or goes out of commerce or disappears in such a way that its existence is unknown or it cannot be recovered. No? Okay. So if the thing is lost and it's my fault, no? Ayan, I am obliged to pay the damages, no? So define lost, no? Sir, paano ba nalo-lost ang isang bagay? No, kung nasira ito when it perishes, no, or it goes out of commerce, no, naging illegal. Dati legal naman siya, ngayon illegal na o kontrabando na, no, or it disappears, nawala, hindi na mahahanap in such a way that its existence is unknown or it cannot be recovered, no? So that's how the law defines the word lost of a thing, no? Okay, lost of a thing, due. So kung wala akong fault, wala nang obligation. Kung mayroon akong fault, magbabayad ako ng damages. No? Okay. So when the thing deteriorates without the fault of the debtor, the impairment is to be borne by the creditor. No? Respirit domino. No? The thing perishes with its owner. No, kung nag-deteriorate no, like yung sa car kasi nagde-deteriorate yun over time, eh, no? While waiting for the delivery, nagkakaroon yon ng mga pagde-deteriorate, no? Okay. Wear and tear, no? So that impairment, no, yung pagde-deteriorate niyan, sasaluin yan nung creditor, not the debtor, kasi wala siyang fault, no? Iba naman ang usapin kapag may fault. If it deteriorates through the fault of the debtor, dalawa ang option ng creditor. The creditor may choose between rescission of the obligation and its fulfillment with indemnity for damages in either case. Choice number 1, pwede niyang i-rescind ang obligation. I-end up. No? Tapos babalik tayo sa status quo ante. No? Kung ano yung status bago tayo pumasok sa obligation, no? Doon tayo babalik. So ibalik ang pera, sa akin na yung kotse, hindi ko na ibibigay, rescind na eh. Ibalik ko yung pera mo. no? Or no, kasi agreed naman na the creditor may demand fulfillment, no, pero in may damage na, magbabayad ng damages. So you can still demand to get the car though, but with indemnity, magda-damage na. In both cases, no? So another rule, if the thing is improved by its nature or by time, the improvement shall inure to the benefit of the creditor. So, respirit domino, no? The thing perishes with the owner, the thing improves with the owner. No? And number 6, if it is improved at the expense of the debtor, he shall have no other right than that granted of a usufructuary. No? So, kapag na-improve ang gamit, no, na ginastusan nung obligor or debtor, no, kung paano lang niya na-enjoy yung property without rent, yun lang ang kanyang right. No? For example, nasa akin yung bahay mo, tapos I'm supposed to deliver it to you when you come back from abroad, no, in 3 years time. So in 3 years time, the thing improved, na napalagyan ko na ng pader, napapinturahan ko na ng bago, the thing improved very beautifully than you originally, no, intended it to be, no? So when you came back, pagbalik mo, mayroon ba akong right na i-reimburse sa akin yung mga improvements? No? No. You have no right other than yung pag-free na pag-stay mo doon. No? Yun lang ang compensation mo. You have free from rent, no? You are a usufructuary, no? You enjoy the property, ikaw ang nakinabang na hindi ka nagre-rent, no? And in exchange, yun na yung kabayaran mo dun sa mga improvements na ginawa mo dun sa property. So, again, this is Article 1189. No? Rules to be observed in case of improvement, loss, or deterioration of the thing, no? During the pendency of the condition, no? Na when it take place, you are obliged to give, no? To deliver the thing, no? Okay. So, in summary, if the thing lost, walang fault ang debtor, wala na siyang obligation. If the thing is lost, may fault ang debtor, magbabayad siya ng damages. Kailan ma-lost? No? Kung masira, no, maging illegal outside the commerce, umawala na hindi na siya makikita pang muli, ma-recover, no? Ayan. So, kung nasira ang gamit, walang fault ang naghawak nito, ang creditor, then i-shoulder ito ng may-ari ng gamit. Pag nasira ang gamit na may fault ako, dalawa ang options ng creditor. One, pwede niyang tapusin yung contract. Status quo ante, magsolian tayo, soli ko pera, hindi ko na i-deliver yung gamit, no? And then two, pwede niyang kunin pa rin niya yung gamit, pero mag-request na siya ng damages kasi may fault ako doon. Ayan. So, kung na-improve naman ng thing over time, no, ang improvement papunta sa kanya, no? Kung nag-improve siya, like kung farmland, tumubo yung mga trees, nag-improve na, no? Kung nag-improve at the expense of the debtor, wala akong ibang right kundi yung free na paggamit dun sa deliverable. Galing, no? Ang komplikado ng law natin, no? Pero this maintains, no, yung peace, no, sa ating society, na meron tayong sinusunod na rules, no? This presupposes na may justice. Justice sa mga may-ari ng mga lupain o mga ari-arian o gamit na hindi pa nila nahawakan, no, because of some conditions, no, agreed upon. So, malapit na tayo. Article 1190, no? So, when the conditions have for their purpose the extinguishment of an obligation to give, the parties, upon the fulfillment of the said conditions, shall return to each other what they have received. No? In cases of loss, deterioration, and improvement of the thing, the provisions with respect to the debtor are laid down in the preceding article shall be applied to the party who is bound to return. No? And for the obligations to do and not to do, the provisions of second paragraph of Article 1187 shall be observed as regards the effect of the extinguishment of the obligation. So minsan, ang conditions na nilalagay natin is para matapos na yung obligation to give, no? So kung mangyari, no, ito yung kanina, resolutory condition, no? The purpose is to end the obligation, no? To give. So these are the implementing rules, kumbaga, no? Okay, kung mangyari na, it shall return to each other what they have received, no? Ayan. So, in case of loss, no, nawala yung mga pinaghahawakan nating mga gamit, deterioration or improvement of the thing, yung mga provisions, no, na laid down kanina shall apply, no, to the party who is bound to return. Halimbawa, ibabalik ko na yung bahay, no? Kasi nandyan na ang usapan natin, habang wala pa yung may-ari, nasa US pa, ako muna yung titira sa bahay. Yun yung condition. Eh, nangyari na. I'm supposed to return na the house. No? Eh, paano nag-deteriorate na, no? As time, no? As time passes. So, mutually compensated, no? Kung meron sa part niya, meron din siyang i-return, no? Pero kung hindi, no? Usufructuary. Kung ano man kung na-improve ko man siya, usufructuary rights, no? Yung kanina. As for the obligations to do and not to do, yung provisions ng 1187 shall be observed as regards the effect of the extinguishment of the obligation. Extinguishment meaning wala ka ng obligation. No? So may mga conditions na nilalagay na ang purpose niya para matapos na ang obligation to give. Hindi mo na i-give, no? Kasi extinguished na eh. Kung nangyari yon, no, balikan na tayo ng magsosolian na ng kandila, ika nga. No? So, second paragraph of Article 1187, because it was mentioned, in obligations to do and not to do, the courts shall determine in each case the retroactive effect of the condition that has been complied. Korte na naman sa mga not to do. No? Okay, so rescission. The power to rescind obligations is implied in reciprocal ones. No? Yung reciprocal obligations are those obligations na kaliwaan. I give that you may give. No? Okay. I do that you may do. No, kung hindi ko ibigay, then hindi mo rin ibibigay. No? Or kung hindi ko gagawin, hindi mo rin gagawin. Reciprocal. No? So kung hindi mo gawin, meron na akong power to rescind. Huwag na nating ituloy ang obligation. Hindi mo naman ginawa yung part mo eh. No? So in case one of the obligors, no, should not comply with what is incumbent upon him, then pwedeng i-rescind ng other party. Meaning, let's end the contract. Let's return, no? Whatever we give each other, kasi let's return what we received, no? Kasi na-rescind ang contract. No? The injured party may choose between fulfillment of the rescission of the obligation. So may option pa rin. Pero inherent yung power to rescind, no? May option pa din, no? Dalawa pa din yung pwede niyang i-demand, no? Pwedeng i-demand. Number one, pwede niyang i-demand na i-fulfill na lang yung obligation, no? Or kung hindi naman niya ma-fulfill, hindi na niya i-demand yun, rescission na lang, no? With payment of damages in either case. He may also seek rescission even after he has chosen fulfillment if the latter should become impossible. Rescission na din kahit dinemand niya na i-fulfill ang obligation, impossible naman na. Now, the court shall decree the rescission claim unless there be a just cause authorizing the fixing of a period, no? Okay. So the court will order na mag-end na lang tayo ng obligation. Mag-rescind na lang, no? But the court may also consider fixing a period para ma-fulfill, no? Kumbaga maglagay pa ng palugit at maglagay ng fixed term, no? Fixed period kung saan pwede pang comply. This is understood to be without prejudice to the rights of third persons who have acquired the thing in accordance with Articles 1385 and 1388 and the mortgage law. No? Ayan. So, since nabanggit ang 1385, let's check it out. No? Rescission creates the obligation to return the things which were the object of the contract. No? So, ibabalik talaga yung mga gamit, mga bagay na pinag-uusapan sa kontrata kapag na-rescind na. At kasama dito ang fruits and the price with its interest. Consequently, it can be carried out only when he who demands rescission can return whatever he may be obliged to restore. So this is reciprocal obligation, kaliwaan ito. No, makapag-demand ka lang ng solian kapag kaya mo ding isoli ang what is incumbent upon you to restore, no? Neither shall rescission take place when the things which are the object of the contract are legally in the possession of third persons who did not act in bad faith, no? So kung ang bagay ay nasa ibang tao na who did not act in bad faith, no? Hindi na pwede ang rescission, no? Fulfillment na lang with damages or kung impossible, rescission pa din with damages, no? Pero hindi na ito pwede kasi di mo na ma-comply ang return or restoration of the object kasi nandun na sa third person. So in this case, indemnity for damages may be demanded from the person causing the loss. So, pwede nang mag-damage, including the price of the thing. Plus, no, damages, no, na sleepless nights, stress, anxiety, no, ayan, and the other damages. Nabanggit din yung 1388, so pasadaan din natin siya. Article 1388, whoever acquires in bad faith the things alienated in fraud of creditors shall indemnify the latter for damages suffered by them on account of alienation whenever due to any cause it should be impossible for him to return them. No? If there are two or more alienations, the first acquirer shall be liable first and so on successively. No? Ito yung mga alienation in fraud of creditors. No? Sometimes, alam mo na magkakaroon ng rescission ng contract, ng obligation, magbalikan tayo ng gamit. No? So, ibalik ko sa iyo yung apartment, no, yun yung ating napag-agrihan kanina, ibalik mo sa akin yung farmland, no? So mag-rescission. Tapos, alam kong magkakaroon ng rescission of obligations, magbalikan, binenta ko mabilisan. No? Inalienate ko mabilisan yung aking apartment in fraud of you. No? Para maloko kita. No? This article no, provides na I must indemnify you for the damages suffered on account of the rush sale that I did, no, in order to defraud you, no. So whenever due to any cause, it should be impossible for him to return them. No? I cannot return it anymore kasi I sold it in a rush. No, but I'm supposed to restore it. No, I'm supposed to restore it. No? If there are two or more alienations, the first acquirer shall be liable first and so on successively. So liable din yung nag-acquire basta in bad faith, no? So, I'm liable din siya in bad faith. This is Article 1388, no? Those who do things in bad faith, no, shall be liable. No, and even yung successive na acquirer. No, so ako at saka yung nabentahan ko, who knows about it, no? I'm sure he knows about it kasi rush sale, no, sale ng mababang presyo, no? May caveat emptor supposedly, no? Why buyers beware dapat, no? Kasi baka this is in fraud of creditors. Alam niya na may case pending tapos pinatulan niya pa din, no? So ayan. So Article 1138, no? So this is the last, Article 1192. In case both parties have committed breach of obligation, the liability of the first infractor shall be equitably tempered by courts. No? If it cannot be determined which of the parties first violated the contract, the same shall be deemed extinguished and each shall bear his own damage. No? Ayan. So, 1192 is the rule when both parties, no, are in bad faith. They both committed their breach of obligation. They are not serious with their obligation. No, nagkaroon sila ng violation um, sa kanilang obligation to each other. No, so dinidetermine kung sino yung unang nagkasala. No? Tapos since nagkasala naman yung dalawa, i-tempered ng court. So may damage ang bawat isa pero i-tempered kasi pareho naman silang in bad faith, no? So the first infractor equitably tempered, no, by the court, no? Pero kung hindi ma-determine kung sino yung unang nag-violate, nako, at pareho silang nag-violate, then to each his own. No, yung each will bore his own damage. No, so kung ano ang na-damage mo sa iyo, no? Anong na-damage ko, then we will bear it, no? I remembered, no, nung nasa Mabalacat ako, no, may banggaan sa fiesta communities, no? Alata naman kung sino yung nakabangga, sino yung infractor. No? This is not about obligations, no, but about conditions. Pero I remembered na lasing kasi yung isa, no. Tapos yung isa naman pauwi, gabing-gabi na 2 a.m. Biglang lumiko yung lasing, may dala-dala pa silang bote. Kinain nila yung lane nung padating. Na hindi naman sila nakita kasi nga paliko. Bigla silang liko, no? And then nagbanggaan sila. Ngayon, nag-away, naglakasan ng boses, nagturuan, no? Tuloy, hindi na na-determine kung sino yung first infractor. No? At nag-usap na lang sila na to each his own. Sige, dalhin niyo sa ospital yung kasama niyo, dalhin namin sa ospital yung kasama namin, then bear their own damage. Di na nila na-determine kung sino yung yung first infractor dahil sa sigawan, no? Nagkakapakitaan sila ng kung sino ang mas magaling mag-argue, no? Nakita ko yung isa, they're supposed to be the victims. No? Lumalabas na sa pag-argue sila pa yung may kasalanan. So buti na lang nag-settle na to each his own, no? Ayan. So, thank you. Diyan muna tayo magtatapos sa ating pure and conditional contracts. No? I hope you learned today from our lesson, and I hope na these lessons will be used in your daily lives, in the promotion of justice, no, in the promotion of peace. No, ang mahalaga lang naman sa law ay nakakapag-cause siya ng um, equitable na justice, no? Fairness to all, no? Para magkaroon tayo ng better community to live in, better society, so that we will enjoy more of our lives, no? Living in a community such as what we have today, no? Ayan. So, thank you for listening, and until my next video, no? Okay. Bye-bye.